Alright, so today we're going to learn how to do a titration. You need these materials to get yourself started. This is called a burette. It's an instrument used to measure volume. You'll need 2 or 3 flasks. You'll need a wash bottle full of water. You'll need 2 beakers. One is a waste beaker and one to hold the solution that goes in the burette. I usually use 2 that look different, so I got a plastic one and a glass one so I can tell them apart. And then you'll need a funnel. Once you got all that, you're ready to get started. Okay, so I'm going to put my goggles on, but the first thing that you need to do is actually just clean everything. So I'm just going to rinse everything with some water. So I have water in here. I'm going to rinse it in here. I've got my waste container, and I'm just opening this up. There's a little part on this that turns vertical to open and horizontal to close. It's called a stopcock. And so I'm going to leave it open, pour some water through. I might even plug it up for a sec, get a lot of water in there. Okay, so again, this is just rinsing. I'll do the same with my flasks. Just rinse them and I can dump them right in there. Or I can dump them in the sink. And then I also want to rinse the burette. It's okay if the flasks have a little bit of water left in them, as you'll see in a minute. But with the burette, I want to rinse again with the solution I'm going to fill it with. And the reason I'm doing this is to make sure that there aren't any water droplets in there that dilute my solution. And so I'm going to pour a little bit of the solution that I'll fill it with, just a little bit, just to rinse out all those extra water droplets. So now any droplets that are in there are droplets of the solution that won't dilute my solution. Okay, this is called a pipette. It's a really accurate way of measuring volume because it has little lines every 1/10 of a milliliter. Notice it goes from 0 at the top to 10 at the bottom on one side. It does the opposite on the other side. So this is a pipetteur. It's an electronic device. I'm going to turn it on right here. The buttons pull air in and out to suck solution up. So I'm going to put 10 milliliters of acid into my flasks here. And so I'm going to put this in so I can still see it. I'm going to push the top button, pulls solution up. And I like to come up just past the 0. So you don't want to get up in here. You don't want this to get wet because you'll ruin it. So but come a little bit past the 0, and then you can get eye level and slowly release until you get down to the 0. That takes a lot of practice. So practice a few times before you do the real thing. So you want to go ahead and just fill three flasks to start with, if you have 3. So you can do your trials really quickly. And then don't forget, put 1 drop of indicator in each one. We're using phenolphthalein. You can use lots of different indicators. So those are all set, ready to go. Now I want to make sure my burette's ready to go. All I have to do is now fill it with the solution I want to use. So I'm just going to fill it up. You don't have to get exactly to 0, but you probably need about 3/4 of the way full. Okay. And now I'm going to pull the funnel out because I don't want any extra drops to fall down while I'm doing my titration because they'll mess up the data. Alright, so now I'm ready to do an actual titration. So the first thing I want to do is record the volume in my burette. And I need to get to eye level, and there should be a stool or 2 around if you need to stand on one. I want to get eye level and look for the bottom of the meniscus. So it does read backwards from 0 to 10. And so there's 9 and there's 10. My meniscus is at 9.6. And so I'm going to record my starting volume of 9.6. You should have a decimal place. Okay. And now I'm going to let this base go into the acid. I have phenolphthalein in there, so it's clear and acid now. And as I get close to neutral, I'll be looking for a pink color. So you can see it turns pink, and then that pink fades away because the base is mixing in with the acid. So, okay. First one, I'm going to do it nice and slow. I after the first trial, you'll get an idea of how much volume it uses, and you can release it a little bit quicker until you get close to that end point. Okay, so I'm being really patient. But that color went away really quickly, so I know I'm not quite there yet. Right, so see there's a little drop dangling on the end. This is where the wash bottle comes in. I'm going to angle my flask and rinse that drop right into the flask so that I'm not losing any drops that are coming out of this purette. It's okay to dilute this. There's still the same number of moles of acid in there, even though the concentration changes. So I'm being very patient, swirling. Notice I'm not swirling it like a crazy person, just being nice and gentle. Oh, I went too far. So I know I went too far because I got it a little bit too pink, but that's okay. It's just my first trial. I have exactly 16 milliliters, so I'm going to record 16.0, which means that I used 6.4 milliliters of solution. Okay, so for this next one, I know I'm going to use approximately 6.4 again, so I'm just going to save myself a little bit of time, release about 5 milliliters before I even start being patient. And so now I've done 5 milliliters, it's probably time to start like slowing it down, swirling really gently. I can see that pink is still disappearing really quickly, so now it's slowing down. So I'm going to rinse that last drop in there, and there is almost perfect. The color faded. I need one more drop. I'm trying to get it the palest possible pink, because remember, pink with phenolphthalein actually means you went too far. It actually means it's basic instead of neutral. And so my final color right there. And so for this last trial, I got 22.1, and so 6.1. Now you want to keep doing these until you get at least 3 trials that are really close to each other. And then you can do some calculations to figure out the molarity of your unknown.